Come on now, fellas! We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go!
Welcome into a Friday edition of Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow alongside Mo Patton, and glad to be here with you on this Friday edition. Mo, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm just here so I don't get fired. You know,
aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah,
man. What a crazy night last night it was.
In a number of different directions. Yeah.
Enjoyed our time at Bridgestone Arena with all of our friends and fans from around the mid-state. Met a lot of great folks and got to shake a lot of hands. And
we kissed no babies, though.
No babies kissed.
A little disappointing.
Unfortunately. So it is what it is. But yeah, it was a good time, and the Preds won. So that's always a good thing.
I'm glad somebody won.
Yeah, no kidding. So anyway, it was a great night, and again, great show yesterday. We really enjoyed you guys hanging out with us, and we appreciate it. Looking forward to more of those as we have some exciting news coming up about where you can find us in and around the Nashville area throughout the summer, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be fun. But we'll get you that information as soon as it's allowed to be released. So until then, we got a lot to get to today and this weekend. It's busy. That's all I'm going to say. It's busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how else to tell you that, but we need to go ahead and get into the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
All right, we start in baseball action from yesterday. Antioch 16, Hunters Lane 6, Beach 10, nothing winners over Rockford Christian, Illinois. It was Henry County 7, Brentwood 1, and Franklin Road Academy 8, Centennial 4. Clarksville 2, nothing winners over Christ Presbyterian, and Clarksville Academy 12-2 over Dixon County. It was Columbia Central 5, Scotts Hill 1, Culleoka 8, Cornersville 3, and Eagleville 2-1 winners over Forest. East Robertson down Cumberland County 15-5, and Franklin down Clarksville 4-2. It was Friendship Christian 5-0 winners over Gallatin, and Gordonsville 7-0 over Westmoreland. And Grace Franklin blanked Middle Tennessee Christian 10-0. And Green Hill is a 7-3 winner over Smith County. Stewart's Creek down Hendersonville 6-1. But the Commandos bounced back with a 17-2 win over DeKalb County. Hillsboro 4, Hillwood 3, and Independence 1-0 winners over Bartlett.
Murfreesboro Central defeated Laverne 11-0. It was Lawrence County 8, Richland 5. Station Camp with a 10-0 win over Lebanon. Columbia Academy goes on the road, gets an 8-5 win at Loretto. Portland edged Macon County 5-4. It was McGavock 8, Cheatham County 2. Montgomery Central with an 18-1 win over a road-weary Russellville, Alabama. Beach with a 5-4 victory over Mount Juliet. Mount Pleasant downs Hickman County 8-5. Fairview with a 15-4 win over Pope Prep. Riverdale defeated Oakland 2-1. Siegel 4 Rockvale 1. Rossview with a 5-4 win over Ravenwood. Blackman defeated Smyrna 8-7. It was Summertown 4, Spring Hill 2. Station Camp with a 14-1 win over Donaldson Christian. Clarksville Northeast defeated Stewart County 6-4. Martin Luther King with a 24-0 win over Stratford. Watertown 8, Cannon County 2. Webb Bell Buckle 4, Battleground Academy 3, and White County defeated Mount Juliet Christian 8-7.
Softball action, Spring Hill 11-8 winners over Battleground Academy. It was Columbia Academy with their third consecutive 15-0 win, this time over Grace Franklin. Creekwood with a pair of wins, 6-1 over Floyd Central, Indiana, and 2-0 over Blackman. It was Cornersville 8, Culleoka 1, Beach 17-4 winners over Gallatin. Giles County edges Lawrence County 2-1, and John Overton was an 11-3 winner over East Nashville. Westmoreland 3, Liberty Creek 2, and Hendersonville 14-1 winners over McGavock. It was Silver Creek, Indiana 7, Middle Tennessee Christian 4, but the MTCS Tigers? No, not Tigers. What are they?
Cougars. They're some sort of cat.
9-4 Cougars.
Yeah.
Over
There we go.
Waverly. Gibson, Southern Indiana, 13-1 over Middle Tennessee Christian, and Floyd Central of Indiana, 11-2 over Oakland. Columbia Central, 5-1 winners over Ravenwood, and South Elgin, Illinois, 7-2 over Riverdale. Rogers of Alabama, the Pirates, ladies are not, 3-2 winners over Loretto, and Bryant, Arkansas, 8-7 winners over Siegel. It was the Stars 6 and White House 5, however, and Floyd Central down Smyrna 4-2. It was Nolensville 7, Smyrna 2, and Richland 2-1 winners over Wayne County in district play.
Are there Lady Stars?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think they're gender neutral.
I would think so. And boys soccer, Chucky Doak with a 2-0 win over Springfield. Smyrna down Mount Juliet 7-1. It was Friendship Christian and Smith County playing to a scoreless draw. Station Camp with a 1-0 win over Valor Collegiate. Westmoreland defeated Middle Tennessee Christian 3-2. And Zion Christian with an 8-1 win over Franklin Christian. In NCAA basketball tournament action of local interest, Florida Atlantic ended Tennessee's season in the Sweet 16 with a 62-55 win at Madison Square Garden. And as we mentioned, at Bridgestone Arena, the Nashville Predators in shootout fashion defeated the Kraken 2-1.
All right, if you are ready for looking for something to do this weekend, we've got you covered right now. High school baseball action today at 1 o'clock over in East Tennessee. East Robertson and Knoxville Catholic are going at it right now. In the Jim Painter Classic, it's Henry County and CPA. They first pitch at 4 o'clock. It's Donaldson Christian and Gallatin also at 4. At 4 o'clock, it's Columbia Academy at Hillwood and Antioch at Hunters Lane. At 4:30, Father Ryan hosts Montgomery Bell Academy. At 5 o'clock, it's Hampshire at home against Clarksburg and Brentwood going to Independence. Now we move back to 4:30 because I missed these. Maplewood at home against Whites Creek and Martin Luther King at home against Cane Ridge. Back to 5 o'clock, White House at University School Nashville. And at 5:30, it's Allen County, Kentucky at Westmoreland. Fairview taking on Clarksville Academy. Mount Juliet is at Cookville at 6 o'clock, as well as Glencliff at Ezel Harding. Hickman County at home against Mount Pleasant. Fayetteville at home against Culleoka. Centennial goes to Page. East Nashville is at Laverne. Blackman hosting Smyrna. Davidson Academy taking on Providence Christian at home at 6:30. Also at 6:30, Giles County goes to Lawrence County, and Richland is at Loretto. Scottshill is at Spring Hill. That's what you were telling me to watch out for earlier this week, Mo. John Overton at Nolensville. Montgomery Central hosting Northeast. And at 7 o'clock, it's McGavock at Cheatham County, and Eagleville is at Montgomery Central, time unknown to me.
That's Murfreesboro Central.
Sorry, Murfreesboro Central, you're right.
Yeah. In the Wilson County Invitational today at 3 o'clock, Smith County plays Beach. Hendersonville is at Wilson Central at 4. Also at 4, Plainfield Central of Illinois plays Station Camp. At 6:30, Gallatin is at Green Hill. White County plays Wilson Central. And at 8, Rockford Christian of Illinois plays Lebanon. In the Jim Painter Classic, Clarksville plays Summertown at 4 o'clock today. CPA plays at Summit at 6:30. Also at 6:30, Bartlett is at Columbia Central. And at 7, Clarksville is at Ravenwood. In the Spring Takeoff Series at James Clemens of Alabama, Creekwood plays Riverdale at 3. At 4 o'clock, it's Stanhope Elmore of Alabama and Oakland. At 7, it's James Clemens of Alabama and Oakland. And also at 7, it's Opelika of Alabama and Creekwood. Saturday action, Jefferson County plays East Robertson, at 10 o'clock. Also at 10 o'clock, Stanhope Elmore of Alabama plays Creekwood. At noon, Moore County is at Zion Christian. Lawrence County is at Giles County. Harpeth Hall, is this softball?
I think it's Harpeth.
Okay. Harpeth is at Overton at 12 noon. Ezel Harding is at Liberty Creek at 12 noon. Also at 12 noon, Brentwood Academy is at Montgomery Bell Academy. At 1, Cascades at Davidson Academy. Fairview is at Montgomery Central. And Oakland plays Bartlett at 1:30, as does Donaldson Christian and Lebanon.
Rossview is at Independence at 2:30. Mount Juliet at home against Hendersonville at 4. Columbia Academy at Portland at 4:30. And at 5 o'clock, I have a school from Indiana that I cannot pronounce the first name is taking on Middle Tennessee Christian. And Smith County is at Wilson Central in the Wilson County Invitational at some point. White County takes on Beach at 11 in the Wilson County Invitational, as well as Stewart's Creek and Green Hill. At 1 o'clock, it's Gallatin at Watertown. Friendship Christian hosting Calumet Christian of Indiana, and Green Hill takes on Station Camp. In the Serve Pro Classic up in Hendersonville, Knights Academy and Clarksville Academy at 11, and Clarksville Academy is at Pope Prep at 3 o'clock. In the Jim Painter Classic, Father Ryan takes on Summertown at noon at Columbia, and following that, Summertown will take on the host Lions at 2:30. It's Ravenwood taking on CPA at 2:30, and Rockville against Summit also at 2:30, and then Clarksville and CPA at 6:30. At that Spring Takeoff Classic at James Clemens, it's Opelika, Alabama, and Oakland at 11. Stanhope Elmore of Alabama and Riverdale at 1. Oakland takes on Collierville at 1:30, and Russellville, Alabama, Riverdale at 4.
Softball today, Gibson County and Beach are playing right now, started at 2 o'clock. At 4:30, Fairview plays Decatur County Riverside. Overton is at McGavock at 4:30. Also, Brentwood Academy is at Ravenwood. 5 o'clock starts for Hendersonville at Columbia Central, Westmoreland at Green Hill, Friendship Christian at Houston County, and Loretto at Mount Pleasant. At 6, Eagleville is at Cornersville, and White House plays Gordonsville. In the Southern Warrior Classic, Floyd Central of Indiana at Riverdale started about 15 minutes ago. Also at 2 o'clock, West of Illinois and Stewart's Creek, White County, and Creekwood. At 4 o'clock, Dyer County plays Siegel, Shelbyville plays Stewart's Creek, Plainview of Alabama plays Zion Christian, Father Ryan plays Murfreesboro Central, and Warren County plays Blackman. At 6, Carterville of Illinois and Coffee County will play. Also, Baylor and Siegel, Immaculate Conception of Illinois and Murfreesboro Central, and Beach and Smyrna. On Saturday at 1:30, Hollow Rock plays Fairview. That's Hollow Rock Brewston at Fairview at 1:30 on Saturday.
Tomorrow's Southern Warrior Classic action, Andrean, Indiana, and Murfreesboro Central Magnet at 8 a.m. So wake up and eat breakfast with Murfreesboro Central, I guess. 10 a.m. It's White County Summertown, and at noon, number 1 in 3A, Plainview, Alabama, taking on Murfreesboro Central. Bedford North Lawrence, Indiana, and Riverdale at noon. Also at noon, Hazel Green, Alabama, and Summertown, Nolensville, and Stewart's Creek, Siegel and Marshall County, Monteverde Academy out of Florida, and Smyrna. At 2 o'clock, Camden Central and Zion Christian. It's Macon County and Smyrna, Station Camp and Blackman. At 4 o'clock, Page takes on Zion Christian. Station Camp has Stewart's Creek, Westview, and Blackman, and Nolensville Creekwood. At 6 o'clock, Tullahoma takes on Creekwood. And on Sunday, Southern Warrior Classic action, Riverdale hosting Central Catholic Illinois at noon. At 4 o'clock, the hosts will have Wakanda, I guess, Illinois, and Lake Zurich and Siegel will play at 2 o'clock.
Boys soccer this weekend. Hello. Lipscomb Academy plays Smith County, well, right now, I guess. 2 o'clock first touch there. Westmoreland at Friendship Christian at 3. Greenville plays Murfreesboro Central at 3:30. At 4 o'clock, it's Mountain Brook, Alabama, and Page. At 5, Antioch is at Ensworth. Also, Marshall County is at Spring Hill at 5:30. 6 o'clock, Overton's at Montgomery Bell Academy. Lawrence County is at Tullahoma. 7 o'clock starts for White House Heritage at Beach, Siegel at Blackman, Rossview at Columbia Central, Green Hill at Hendersonville, Cookville at Laverne, Merrill Hyde hosting Valor Collegiate, Oakland hosting Rockvale, Giles County visiting Richland, Wilson Central and Smith County, Riverdale at Stewart's Creek, and Gallatin at White House. On Saturday, 9:30 start, Davidson Academy at and Page. It's not at Page, but it's Davidson Academy. I'm sorry, it's also not Davidson Academy. It's Davidson of Alabama playing Page at 9:30. At 11:30, Springfield plays Clinton. At 6 o'clock, Centennial plays Sevier County.
All of these are in the Smoky Mountain Classic, I think.
Okay, well,
they're all probably Eastern time zones. But
well, I still don't think Centennial and Franklin Road Academy are both playing Sevier County at 6. But at any rate, East Robertson plays Chucky Doak at 7:30. Morristown West plays Murfreesboro Central at 8. On Sunday, 9:30 first touch, Sevier County and Murfreesboro Central, Father Ryan and Page, and East Robertson plays Clinton at 11:30.
Girls flag football action in Williamson County this weekend. It's on Sunday at 2 o'clock. All games are at 2, 4, and 6. We started Nolan's. I'm sorry.
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4. I'm sorry. They're only an hour game. It started in Nolensville. Nolensville takes on Ravenwood. Ravenwood then plays Brentwood, and then Nolensville will play Brentwood at Franklin. It's Franklin and Centennial, then Centennial Page, and then Franklin Page. And at Fairview, it's Fairview Independence. Independence takes on the Spartans, and Fairview then takes on Summit as well in the closing game of that set. Women's basketball tonight, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, 5:30 ESPN2.
College baseball this weekend. Vanderbilt is at Mississippi State. Tennessee, Texas A&M is at Tennessee. Austin Peay travels to Liberty. MTSU's at Florida Atlantic. I'm sure no one will be paying attention to that.
I wonder if the Saturday game will be postponed or time changed.
Yeah, you would think. Illinois State comes to Rose Park, taking on Belmont this weekend. Lipscomb is at Queens. Cumberland is at Bethel. Lindsey Wilson is at University of Tennessee Southern. And in junior college action, Columbia State plays a series at Jackson State. In college softball this weekend, Trevecca is in game 1 of a doubleheader at Walsh right now. That was a 1 o'clock start. Second game will start around 3. And on Sunday, Trevecca is at Malone for a doubleheader. You've got 3-game weekend series, Alabama at Tennessee in a top 25 matchup. Austin Peay is at Queens. Middle Tennessee State is at Louisiana Tech. Southern Illinois is at Belmont. Lipscomb travels to Jackson. Tennessee State is at UT Martin. Cumberland hosting Tennessee Southern. And in junior college action, Columbia State is at Jackson State.
In the association tonight, Rockets at the Grizzlies, 7 p.m. Bally Sports South. On Sunday, the Grizzlies go to Atlanta, take on the Hawks. It's a 5 p.m. tip on NBA TV. NHL play tomorrow. The Kraken at the Preds. That's a 1 o'clock puck drop on Bally Sports South, but they will be unveiling the Pekka Rinne statue ahead of that, so make sure to get downtown a little early. And if you want to catch a doubleheader, catch the Kraken and the Preds at 1 o'clock. Then head over to Geodis Park as Cincinnati will be visiting Nashville Soccer Club. That's a 7:30 first touch in Major League Soccer action. And that is
it? Oh, whoa, stop.
Whoa,
don't the Preds play Sunday as well?
Do the Preds play Sunday? They do play Sunday. They play Toronto. I apologize. The Maple Leafs, 5 o'clock on NHL Network.
Yeah, there we go. And that
is your rundown.
Because Lord knows, if we're going to do 15 minutes of rundown, we want to get everything.
That's true. Get it all in while you can. And now our next guest probably has way more high school baseball, softball, and boys soccer knowledge about the state
In
of
Middle
Tennessee than he ever
Tennessee.
thought he would ever need in his life. And so we will make him wait no longer. We'll take a quick break. Christopher Gabriel joins us to talk a little bit about Duvalls right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Welcome back in to Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are live from the Lee Company studio. Glad to have you with us here on this Friday afternoon. A beautiful Friday it is in Middle Tennessee. I'm just throwing out a guess here. It's probably beautiful where our next guest is coming from today, and we can ask him now as we bring in VFL Christopher Gabriel. Christopher, what's going on, man? I know it's a tough day today, but it's a new day. Is it pretty where you're at?
It's a new day. It is today. You can see outside here. I've got the shades down. Otherwise, I would be in some better thing for the program. I don't know. But this is the first day that we've had in a while that hasn't been downpours. 60 miles south, there's thousands and thousands of acres of farmland that now look like the ocean. So it has been historic in terms of the amount of rain, the snowpack in the mountains 40 miles to the east of us. But today is a gorgeous day, except for what happened last night at the world's most famous arena.
That wasn't pretty at all. And, Christopher, Chris and I talked about that game yesterday and felt like that needed to be a game for UT very much like the LSU game during the regular season, where they just needed to go in and take control of it from the start. And clearly that didn't happen.
I wonder if it's us or him. Must be me. Justin, are you hearing him?
I believe it might be on Mr. Gabriel's side.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's unfortunate.
There, are you back?
There.
Yeah, it might be a little bit. If you can hear me,
We can now.
Hey, you sound good now.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
I flipped.
There we are.
I flipped the camera off because it might be a little easier.
That's perfectly fine.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think Yeah, sometimes the video acts a little funky. I think what you were asking me is, it sounded like what you said was were the Vols napping. I think
Mr. Gabriel, yeah, I'm gonna give you a call and we'll bring you in on by phone if that's okay with you.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Just give him a call. Sometimes technology, Mo,
It's beautiful when it works.
it's a heck of a thing when it works. We do, you know, that and that's. You're right. We did talk about this last night, and I'm not so sure it's not my fault that what happened, considering, you know, we left one place where I have a curse and
to focus on something else.
to focus on something else. The Preds win and, well, Vols lose. And they just played horrible at times last night. And I was obviously tweeting through it. And Mo, I don't know if you know this. I had a tweet that earned it's blown up my mentions basically.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, a couple quote tweets, 34 retweets and 202 likes, and I'm not used to that. That doesn't happen very often to my tweets. So I'm like, why are my notifications just going nuts right now? So
Well, your first mistake is having your notifications for Twitter turned on, but that's another story. What was said tweet? I missed
I
it.
just said that it was during that run, that 3 or 4 minute run where it seemed like not only did everything go right for FAU, but they were getting every call. The ball thrown out of bounds, and then they decided to give the ball to Florida Atlantic, and then the flop on a charge, and then not calling the box out that sent Olivier Comtois into the cheerleaders. Just, I just said, but FAU is absolutely getting everything from these officials, and this is pathetic from a Sweet 16 crew, and I don't think that's inaccurate at all.
Yeah.
But what I said, and this is because here's the thing, I thought they did a fantastic job coaching, because the way that it appeared to me is that in the first half, they played pretty physical with Tennessee and they didn't get any calls. The whistle wasn't getting blown because both teams were playing pretty physical. In the second half, Florida Atlantic comes out and starts falling all over the place.
They played to the whistle. They coached to the whistle. You know, they realized how the game was going to be called. Dusty May set the tone coming out of last weekend with his Australian rules rugby comment, you know, playing off of the Tennessee Duke game. And it's like I tweeted last night, you know, Duke didn't beat Tennessee Saturday, but you can't say they didn't have a hand in beating Tennessee last night. Now, Duke didn't not rebound. Duke didn't not hit shots. So, I mean, Tennessee had to control what they could control, and they didn't as far as that went. But
plenty of blame to go around.
Yeah.
I believe we may have.
Do we have Christopher back? Are you there?
Ooh.
Do you have him potted up on the mixer?
I do. I have him on the Bluetooth here.
Is your phone volume all the way up?
Troubleshooting.
Stand by.
Okay. And look, you're right. Plenty of blame to go around. But Florida Atlantic made it appear that Tennessee was playing more physical in the second half by falling down every time they got touched. And the official
charge, the charge on Plavsic was abhorrent.
It was terrible. And then the couple times,
but you know, but hey, credit Florida Atlantic for recognizing that if we fall, we're getting the call.
100%. And I said it all night. It was great coaching. It was a fantastic job for him to come out and say, look, we're going to try to play physical with them. We're going to do what we have to do. And then at halftime, we make the adjustment to make it appear that they are just mauling us.
Just killing us. They're killing us. Yeah, we're just falling all over the place. We can't stand up.
It absolutely worked. It was a fantastic job
Sure.
by the Florida Atlantic coaching staff and for the
I
players.
mean, here's the thing, if you don't mind winning a game like that, then sure. But hey, it's a Sweet 16. If that's what it takes for us to win a game, hell yeah.
I'm all in if that's what it takes. I mean, that's just
you can talk about us all you want to. Just be sure you call us Elite 8.
There you go. Christopher, are you with us?
I am with you, gentlemen.
All right, there we go. Well, we were just talking about how last night was, obviously not a great night for Tennessee, and there's plenty of blame to go around from Tennessee coaching staff to apparently poor body language from players, all the way to obviously some poor officiating at times. What exactly did you see while you were watching this one?
Well, I saw a lot of what you guys saw, and you have to bear with me because I'm getting everything that I'm saying is going back into my head. So
we can fix that
with me here because I don't know. The gremlins are in here, but yeah, I'm hearing me every 2 seconds. I'll do the best I can for you. What I saw last night was a team that was tentative, a team that didn't seem locked in. And when you lose, it's not just one coach. It's not one player. It's everybody. You win together, you lose together. And a comment last night, and I threw it out on social media. I said it on my program this morning that when you watched Gonzaga, UCLA, FAU, Michigan State, Kansas State, you saw teams that were ferocious and just dialed in. Tennessee just wasn't. And I'm not sure what the problem was. Defensively, what they needed to do was stay with their man. And instead, they fell right into the trap, which was FAU was going to send guys down the lane, wait for us to collapse, and then kick it out. That's what we shouldn't have done. I mean, listen, I'm a former player and I'm a fan. I'm not Rick Barnes, but I got to tell you, the fact of the matter is what they needed to do was just stay on their man, not slough off, not try to give help down the lane, and not give these guys open looks. And then offensively, time and time again, we had guys with open shots. And I know that Rick Barnes has said repeatedly that he gives everybody the green light to do what they want to do. If guys are a shooter, you shoot the ball. But I tell you, multiple possessions, I saw that ball getting, thrown around where you had guys open and guys passing up shots. It was disconcerting. And looking at the Vols fan base as well, I'm struck by the fact that you've got people saying fire Barnes. I hope these players don't come back. All that, none of that is in play. And I would offer you this. And again, forgive me because I've got all this feedback in my head, so I'm trying to sound as smooth as possible for you.
You're doing great.
Offer a comparison to the football team. We saw Josh Heupel last year just light it up, absolutely light it up, but obviously problems on the defensive side of the ball. Josh is a solid coach. He's always been a solid coach. He understands the things that need to happen, that need to change. Rick Barnes is a future Hall of Famer. Is he a perfect coach? No. Who is? And the notion that Barnes doesn't do well in March, you look at the 360-plus teams, Division I basketball, Division I college basketball, how many of those coaches have won an NCAA championship? How many of them have done well in March? That's not saying that Rick Barnes and his staff couldn't have done better. They could have last night. They could have called a timeout to stop the 20-4 run. But is smart enough to know, this is a couple years in a row now, that the offense has just gone away. If I'm Rick Barnes, if there's one tweak, fellas, that I'm making on this staff next year, it is bringing in an offensive specialist to help with what clearly is an element that is missing on this team. And let's throw this in as well. When Zakai Ziegler went down, that was a real blow to this team. But the offensive woes that they had, they were in place while Zakai was there. I think one of the main issues was not developing an adequate backup point guard. I think they had one on the bench. They just never developed him.
We've talked a lot about the lack of play that BJ Edwards got prior to Zakai Ziegler getting hurt and him not being a viable replacement for Ziegler once Ziegler went down. But I'll tell you, Christopher, I'm sorry, it looked to me as though Meshack got more and more comfortable at the point as the night went last night. And I don't know that he came in as a point guard, but I thought he did, under the circumstances, a pretty good job running things.
I think you're absolutely right. No question about it. I have to tell you, as the year went on, he has become my favorite guy on this team. When he comes in, you just get nothing but hard work every single possession, both sides of the court. I mean, he just gives everything he's got. And I know that sounds a little cliche, but I mean, when he gets down into the offensive flow, he is a man on a mission, a man with a purpose. When he cuts to the basket, whether he has the ball or he doesn't, he has so much. Well, I'll use the same word I used a minute ago. So much ferocity. He makes things happen. So I agree with you. I think that Jemai Meshack, if the rest of the team, there's so many guys on this team that I really like, but if the rest of the team had the same kind of fire, focus, and intensity that Jemai Meshack brings, they just wouldn't have had a problem last night. And I'll just say this. I want to make sure I put this in, fellas. Two things can be true. This is where I started earlier. Florida Atlantic deserved to win this game last night, but Tennessee should have won this game last night. This game should have been put away at halftime. They squandered opportunities, and I don't know how you guys felt, but for me, what concerned me was as soon as we missed a three, we messed up on a possession. They went down, they made a three, and they took a 41-39 lead. They never looked back from there. Did you guys feel what I did, that on that moment when they finally took the lead, I thought we're in real trouble here?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I didn't feel like it was done, but certainly felt like you were in trouble at that point. And, texting back and forth with Yow over the course of the first half, I just felt like, Christopher, if Plavsic had been able to stay on the floor and they were able to go to him, that could have been a blowout, because I think there was a mismatch there. Even though that guy was physically able to match up with him, as long as he wasn't flopping, as long as he was playing Plavsic straight up, I thought Uros was going to eat his lunch. And we just never were able to get that consistently established, I don't think. Christopher Gabriel joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And, like Yow said, Christopher, a lot of blame to go around, but you got to see something different out of this UT team next year. And I'm not one of those Fire Barnes type guys by any stretch. I mean, I think this program has accomplished things under him that they hadn't really thought about accomplishing under anybody else. But at the same time, you kind of feel like there's a ceiling right now, and that's a little bothersome, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if I may, I want to go back to your Uros point. When he was having success, strong success early, this is where I wondered why they didn't just keep feeding it to him until they were able to stop him. Because the size was a matchup for Uros. He was dynamic enough with his drop step, with his spin, with his moves, his up and under. I didn't think that guy could stop him at all. And I would have just kept feeding it to him every time. And if their D would have started to collapse on him, Uros has enough good vision that he would have found a guy. Then it would have been to knock down the shot. To your second point, again, an agreeing machine. They remind me a little bit of when both the Weeklies and now it's just Karen at the softball program.
feel like, and I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like that ceiling has been hit. I just wonder if the same thing as you, has the ceiling been reached here? What has to happen from Rick Barnes? And I'm not a fire Rick Barnes guy either, but what has to happen for them to shake things up a little bit? Because nobody will question how effective they are defensively. Nobody will ever question that. But the problem is in today's college basketball, with the exception of Virginia 3 or 4 years ago, nobody is winning in regionals and championship games and Final Fours and championship games. Nobody is winning playing this style of basketball. They're just not. It's just like in football. The game has evolved to the point where you better be able to have a great offense, because when the three of us were growing up, great defense beat great offense. Now great offense is beating great defense.
I'm going to give you a statistic. Rick Barnes has been to more NCAA tournaments than Tom Izzo and has 30 fewer wins.
Say that again.
He has been to more NCAA tournaments than Tom Izzo has, and he has 30 fewer wins than Tom Izzo does in the tournament. 30.
30.
3-0. That's I feel like that's a problem. But to your ceiling point, Mo, and I'm going to ask you guys this because it happened. This came up last night, and I thought it was one of the most incredible comparisons that I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm going to ask you guys what you think, because you said, Mo, you talk about Tennessee basketball has a ceiling. Is Rick Barnes Tennessee basketball's Mark Richt? He's a great coach. You're going to win 9-10 ball games a year. You might win the SEC on occasion, but he's never going to get you to the mountaintop. But he's gotten your program stable enough that if you hire the right guy, you can become what Georgia football is now.
Well, and I think that's a heck of a question. I think that's a heck of a comparison. The question is, who is Kirby Smart?
There you go. That's the guy. But I think he's our Mark Richt. I really do.
Christopher, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison. And, again, I'm not in the fire Rick Barnes crowd, but I also think this. I think that there's a difference, and I wrote this a little bit earlier today. There's a difference between bashing a coach and being critical of a coach. And I think we can be critical of Rick Barnes in a number of different areas. Folks will say, well, who are you going to go out? I mean, let's just go down this road for a second. A lot of folks will say, well, who are you going to go out and get that's better? And I would argue this, fellas, it's not about better, because you don't know if you're getting better until that coach gets there. I would say it's about different. It's about finding someone different that has a different offensive philosophy, a different defensive philosophy, and a different vibe and a culture that he brings into the program. All of us heard all of the complaints early on before he ever set foot on the practice field of what Josh Heupel did when he got the UT. I was not one of them. That he was going to have a great success. It's not after the fact. I've been on record saying that, and we saw what he's done in the last couple of years. So I can't say that I think that Rick, even though I think he's a high quality coach and a quality person, I don't know that we are going to get to the mountaintop with Rick Barnes. I'm not convinced that that's going to happen, fellas.
But should Tennessee fans expect to get to the mountaintop? I mean, let's be honest. It's not like we're some basketball blue blood.
Yes, we should.
All right.
Absolutely, we should. Yeah. I mean, this is, and I know why you asked that. So University of Tennessee, this is a destination school. Knoxville is a destination city. Tennessee's facilities match up with anybody in the nation. If we, meaning Tennessee, if we aren't looking to go beyond SEC championships, if we're not looking for national championships, then you know what? Why not just join the Southern Conference?
What are we doing? Then what are we doing? No, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, and I know what you're saying, but I think that we should expect greatness. We should absolutely expect greatness. This program has had wonderful players come through here. Rick Barnes has definitely elevated this program, but is there another step? Is there another floor to this building? I absolutely think so. I don't know if we're going to get there under Rick, but I as long as he's here, I'm on board for hoping he does get there.
Christopher, let me ask you this. If you could bring any coach in here right now, who would it be?
Oh, that's an easy one. I am taking the Tennessee checkbook, and I'm getting on the plane. I'm going to Philadelphia, and I am opening that checkbook up and telling Jay Wright, write the number that you want in here. Because my family lived in Philly for 50 years. I know a lot about Jay on the court and off the court. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. This is a guy that does things the right way. He knows how to recruit, and he historically, look at his lineups, fellows. He goes after players that are great players, but not the one and done. His lineups stay with him, and that is why Villanova has won 2 titles under him. Bring him to Knoxville, and I am telling you right now, when Rick Barnes retires or if they move in a different direction, they will win. Tennessee will win a national championship with a guy like Jay Wright. Bank it. Mark that down.
He's the only guy right now that if Jay Wright said I'll come to Tennessee, then I'm on the fire Rick Barnes bandwagon. That's the only person. So when you said that, Christopher, it validated everything that I'm sitting here thinking. I'm like, boy, Jay Wright is the guy. He's the only guy right now in college basketball that I would say I feel comfortable winning a national championship with. So thank you. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay. That's
Chris, if I may, I'll just say this. He is a guy, and again, I'm preaching to the choir with you guys. Jay Wright is a guy that plays suffocating defense, but he is cutting edge offense. Find me a Nova team that didn't have a half dozen guys that could drain it from all over the court. He finds those guys. He has, I don't want this to sound like I'm just bombing on Rick Barnes, but you asked the question, who would I bring to Knoxville? Jay, can you imagine Jay Wright, Tony Vitello, and Coach Heupel? That what a threesome that is.
That's pretty dynamic. That's pretty dynamic. Christopher Gabriel joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mr. Gabriel, now that the Vols are out, who's your pick?
Boy, I don't want to say that team south of the state of Tennessee. I really don't. It's not Florida Atlantic. I mean, they're good for them. They're pretty good. I'll tell you, I'll throw a wrench into this whole thing. The team that I have seen that has just made my head spin is the first game last night at Kansas State. If there's a team that I think can give everybody in this tournament a problem moving forward, it is Kansas State. That young man, Noel, what vision he has, what composure he has. That team on the whole, it's easy to root for them, especially for the young man from Florida who collapsed when he was a Gator, and now he's back, he's healthy. It's just great to see him out on the court. You feel really good for him. Kansas State is certainly a team that I'm looking at. I just got a feeling, and I'm going to be objective here, I feel like Alabama can be had. I'm not sure who. I know, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Houston earlier in the year. But I'll stick with one team. I'm going to say Kansas State.
I'm kind of glad there's a part of me, a very small part of me, but there's a part of me that's kind of glad that UT lost last night, because I don't think they could have beat Kansas State.
I'm with you.
I don't think there's any question.
Watching that first game, those two teams made play after play after play, especially from long range. Those guys didn't have a conscience. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know that the Vols had the offense to keep up with either of them.
Yeah.
Christopher, we appreciate you taking some time with us today. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for working with the ridiculous technical difficulties we were all having, apparently. So it's it's live. It is what it is. You know exactly what that's like. And thanks again. We will work it out next time to be better. But we appreciate your time, and as always.
Enjoy coming on with you guys, and we are all in radio and everything. We're at the behest or at the mercy of the equipment, but you guys do a great job. It's fun to see you. Next time I come on, I'll be in a different part of my house to make things a little better.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Thanks, brother.
All right, we continue our coverage and opining on the NCAA tournament on the other side of a break. So you guys stick with us here in the Lee Company studio. We'll be right back on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
Walmart Supply Chain is hiring in Lebanon. Earn up to $22.25 an hour when you join our new fulfillment center. Enjoy competitive pay and premium perks, including 100% paid college tuition, 401k match, flexible schedules, a free Walmart Plus membership that includes discounts, and free Paramount Plus, paid time off, and so much more. Fulfilling work starts right here. Text JOIN to 240-240. That's JOIN 240-240 to apply now.
This is Chris Yow with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Back now live in the Lee Company studio on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow and Mo Patton here on this Friday edition. And I want to talk about the rest of the Sweet 16, but I just wanted to throw this out there. If you've not read Wes Rucker's column today, the headline is phenomenal and is entirely accurate. When the Vols would exit was a mystery. How they would exit was inevitable. And I think it is probably the most accurate statement that could have been made about this team. Just inconsistency on the offensive side of the floor. And then, of course, giving up rebounds to that team was just inexcusable. So not surprised at all that that Wes Rucker was able to put it into the perfect terms. So,
you know, for a guy who catches as much grief as he does on social media,
so much grief,
I think Wes Rucker does as good a job with covering this athletic program as anybody does.
Oh, no question. I would not want there's not another person that I would want on the Tennessee beat. I mean, I wouldn't trade Wes for anyone. He just does such a great job. And we're lucky enough to have him on the show on occasion, and hopefully we'll have him on soon. But there's nobody else I would rather have. He's just fantastic.
And I'm going to tell you, Chris, I just pulled up this article, and his lead is as good as his headline.
It's all the entire story is just fantastic. I was reading part of it.
Rarely about what you can do at your best, and more about what you can do consistently.
That's it. Seriously, that is 100% accuracy.
Yep.
Nothing more you can say. That's it. That's all you have to say. Holy cow.
And I think this Tennessee team at its best is what makes the lack of consistency so galling.
It's so frustrating
because they tease you, you know, for lack of a better phrase. It's like, yeah, we can do this. And we might do this, but we probably won't. So yeah, it's a little frustrating.
Tonight, Alabama, San Diego State at 6:30, Creighton, Princeton at 9 o'clock. We get Houston, Miami at 7:15, and Xavier, Texas at 9:45. Houston hoping that Miami's men's team doesn't come out like the women's team, because the women's team is absolutely destroying Villanova right now. The 9-seed Hurricanes up 54-35 on 4th-seeded Villanova in the Sweet 16.
And that young lady for Villanova, who is the best scorer in basketball right now, can't think of her name, but I think she had 35 the last time they went out. Scored 1,000 points this season, I believe. So, you know, kudos to the Hurricane women for what they're getting done right now. I'm a little bothered by the fact that I got to stay up late for this Texas Xavier game, because again, as we talked briefly yesterday, that's my most intriguing game of this round.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm telling you, don't sleep on San Diego State, man. I don't think they can beat Alabama, but I definitely think it's going to be a good basketball game.
Well, I just think it's one of those deals where anytime anybody gets to this point, anybody can win. And I think Princeton, by the good fortune of getting number 6 seed Creighton, could make that a game in the other late night game tonight.
And then Houston, Miami, like we just said, Miami won the ACC regular season, so we'll see how they match up against Ralph Sampson. Goodness gracious, Kelvin Sampson, not Ralph.
Close.
I was on the other side of that. That was awkward. Anyway, Kelvin Sampson's crew, they'll be tough to beat tonight, but should be a good basketball game. I'm excited. I think Alabama's going to win. I think Creighton's going to win, and I think Creighton also can give Alabama some trouble just the way that they play. Texas Xavier is probably the biggest toss up. I mean, Xavier can certainly win this game, but you know, as we've talked about, kind of want to see Texas just keep winning so that Rodney Terry is forced to be hired as Texas's head coach. So anyway, there's a lot going on tonight. And of course, Tennessee women playing tonight. Don't forget about that. The Lady Vols obviously taking on number 1 seed Virginia Tech. And
you know, as we talked with Caleb Giroux earlier this week, you know, that's a Virginia Tech team that they played earlier this season. Lost to them because they didn't beat a ranked team until the SEC tournament, but felt pretty good about the matchup and the fact that they had some folks unavailable in that game that will be available tonight. So I think this is being referred to as the redemption tour for UT, because if they win this one, they'd likely get Connecticut. who they
or
also
Ohio
lost
State,
to.
who they lost to. They lost to both teams that they would have to
Yeah.
play in the Elite Eight. So it would certainly be nice to see it. And you're right. I mean, Tennessee certainly has an opportunity to win this game. I'm sorry, that game is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. It is tomorrow at 5:00 on ESPN2. Tonight, though, if you're so inclined, Ole Miss and Louisville at 9:00 Central Time. Or at 6:30, Colorado and Iowa. We saw this Colorado team. We know what Caitlin Clark's capable of. So
that should be interesting because this Colorado team, kind of came off the mat. They were the underdog against MTSU in the opening round and proved that to be a lie. And then down host Duke in the second round. So they're on a little bit of a roll right now. I'm interested to see that matchup with Iowa, which Iowa dodged a big bullet against Georgia in the second round.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Georgia was playing as well as anybody at the time and certainly gave them everything that they wanted. So we'll see what Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes have in store. Looking forward to our next conversation. We don't have Coach Fitzgerald on just yet, but
yeah, we are dealing with some stuff.
Okay, no problem. But tonight's men's basketball tournament, it's never been said before, Mo, that Alabama is the last remaining SEC team in the tournament. That's never been said in the history of the world. And
in the history of ever, huh?
And I'm curious, Alabama's a 7-point favorite tonight in Louisville. Do you think that's telling?
That they're a 7-point favorite?
That it's just 7, yeah.
That it's just 7? I think a lot of folks feel pretty good about San Diego. I mean, I think you just said it a second ago, I don't think we know a whole, certainly not in this area. We don't know as much about San Diego State, but anybody, when you get to this level, is a challenge, I think. So, and like Christopher Gabriel was saying in the last segment, I think Alabama can be had, and certainly they have been at times over the course of the season. So, if they play less than their A game, you could see something like you saw last night with Gonzaga, UCLA, or anything like that. I mean, one game.
Speaking of, Gonzaga had no business even being in that game at the end. I mean, I thought UCLA had that game locked up, ready to go.
Yeah, especially when they come down and knock down that 3-pointer right there inside of 12 seconds?
Yeah, I thought, okay, this is donezo.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm watching frustratingly watching the Vols just give it away, UCLA is on CBS doing the exact same thing. And I didn't get a chance to kind of get over there and watch it because I once Tennessee lost, I was definitely not going to watch more basketball. That was the last thing on my mind. So,
we'll see. And that's the thing. Once Tennessee lost, I was kind of looking for a palate cleanser at that point. So, the way that Gonzaga UCLA game ended, I kind of needed, something to just kind of change the vibe there. So.
Well, I'm glad you were able to watch it. I was tweeting through it. So anyway, we need to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
We do have Hillsboro girls flag football coach and former boys football coach.
Maurice, doesn't that sound funny?
It
boys
is weird.
Football coach.
Boys football coach. Yeah. Maurice Fitzgerald is he is efforting to hear us. I'm not sure if he can hear us just yet. But we're gonna make it work as quickly as we can. So y'all stick around with us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio after these short messages.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Chris Yow with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I do.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio, too.
As do we.
And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
and we reach every main street in Middle Tennessee, Coach?
Yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
you gotta love it.
Like you're moving. I was impressed.
I'm glad someone. Welcome back into the Lee Company studio. Chris Yow and Mo Patton here with you on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are getting ready for girls flag football season.
We are getting ready for girls flag football season, and apparently girls flag football season has already begun in Montgomery County.
It has, Mo, and I only have two schedules. I have Clarksville and let's see, Clarksville and West Creek.
West Creek won their opener yesterday, I think it was.
Against Northeast.
Yeah.
That was, yes, that was last night. And they've got Clarksville at 6 o'clock at Clarksville on Monday.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. So they're not playing in clusters like Williamson County did last season and is doing again this season, and as Metro Nashville is doing in their inaugural season this year. Play begins. They're playing night games in Metro on Wednesday nights. Beginning this coming Wednesday, the 29th, they're playing 3 games each at 5 different sites across Metro Nashville. And so to help us talk a little bit about the inaugural season of girls flag football in Metro Nashville Public Schools, we have longtime boys football coach, Maurice Fitzgerald, joining us. Coach, hey, welcome to the show, man. We really appreciate you taking some time with us. So, what's the allure of girls flag football to draw Maurice Fitzgerald out of retirement?
Well, it was brought to me by athletic director, and that's what I consider participating in this inaugural season. And I was like, man, this may be fun. I don't know much, about what's going on with it, and it's all new, but it's just been really exciting. The warm up, the preseason up until now, it's just the excitement of the young ladies that want to participate. It's just been great. And I have to say to the Brentwood Coach Gabe Evans, they've been so helpful in helping us because they played and participated last year, and this year, of course, they helped us, and we went to Brentwood and asked them the pluses, the minuses, what you do, how you do it, the rules, and all this, and they were just so grateful with helping us, and so we appreciate that help as well.
Coach, how many girls do you have out?
Oh, it ranges probably from 20 to 30, and they're doing other sports, and, certainly we can collaborate with the other sports, but of course you have, the cheering, and you have softball going on and track. So we're just trying to fit in where we get in, and it's been fun. We don't mind working with other sports. We have to work together, collaborate, because we have a few girls that are doing dual sports. So we want to make sure that they're getting the full effect of both.
If you got some track athletes who want to play, you'll take them though. Right?
Oh, every day. It's that, and Coach Gabe mentioned one thing. He said, there are some teams that have rugby players, and they play running back and quarterback, and they're hard to deal with. And I can see that. I can see why he said that. So not only track girls, but young ladies that are a little bigger and a little more physical, they're just as equipped to play this game as speedsters are.
Coach, what has been the biggest, I don't want to say issue, but just in the transition from the traditional 11-person game to what you're dealing with now? What's been the hardest part of making that transition for you?
Probably the practice time. That's one of the issues, and we have an hour for lunch, and we can practice sometimes during the day, and that's helpful. But the rules as well, you can't, do a lot of contact. You try to avoid contact as much as you can, which in football, that's what you look for. That's what you prepare for. But a lot of times you're doing more avoiding contact than actually running into someone. And really, pretty much, I'm learning that it's helpful that, I always like to run the ball when we play, when I was coaching. And it's really no different now. We're trying to incorporate something that Coach Jim Wilson, the late Jim Wilson, taught me many years ago, and that was kind of the wing T offense. And so we're doing some of those things, trying to do a lot of misdirection. And I told the girls, you got to be good actors. I know you're good actors, so we just won't make people think we're going one way and we're going the opposite way. So some of those kind of things, they're a lot of fun trying to incorporate those kind of techniques in what we're doing.
And I guess, Coach, for the most part, you're dealing with athletes who don't have much of a football background, if any. And so you're kind of dealing with a blank slate with a lot of these kids.
Well, interesting enough, a lot of guys that played football all their life, a lot of times they think they know more than the coaches, and some of them do. But in this particular case, that the young ladies, they're willing to learn, and they're willing to not know it all. And then whatever you tell them, they're soaking it in like a sponge and trying to execute what you tell them to do. Whereas sometimes guys, I know this, and I'll take a shortcut or what have you. But these young ladies, they're doing pretty much, verbatim what you say and try to explain to them what to do, and they try to execute it.
Coach, Mo asked you about obviously coming out of retirement to do this. Is the newness of this, does that make it a little bit easier? It's not really mundane. It's not like watching film and all the things that go into, coaching high school football, but just something new to kind of get your mind going and how do I incorporate what I do know into something I don't know? Is that something that has been, like you said it's been fun. Is that something that kind of helped you get into this?
Yeah, I think it's extremely beneficial, and coach is helping me, Dr. Scott Davis, and we work so well together. We work every day together in the physical education department, and we just work just so well together. He's doing the offense, he's doing the defense, I do the offense, and we try to just work together. But the excitement of it, the fast pace of you don't have a lot of time to get mad at a girl because it's the next play. You have to just keep moving. You have a short memory, and it's just fun. It's just being really lightning. The support that you're getting from the principal, Dr. Pelham, and of course from the Titans, from Dr. Battle. It's just all these things working together to make it a very positive experience for these young ladies. And like I said, the game is fast. It really is. And some of the Coach Evans, he said, Coach, the game is fast, and so you get out there, you're playing and you're moving real fast.
Longtime Metro Nashville football coach Maurice Fitzgerald joining us on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. His Lady Burros will take the field on Wednesday at Hillsboro, taking on Hillwood in a 4 o'clock matchup, and Overton at 6. In between Hillwood and Overton will play. Coach, it's just interesting, I guess, this whole girls flag football concept. We saw it in Williamson County last year. It seems to be catching on. What do you feel like the value of this is for the young ladies?
It gives the young ladies exposure. A lot of them like football anyway. And the Titans are putting in things, money and resources in it. A lot of things are attributed to this. Even I believe somewhere down the line, Title IX, because the young ladies have another sport to be involved in. We have to have monies and finances and resources. A lot of times we don't have a football field to play on. Soccer's playing on it. We have spring football, so there's needed another outlet. And the field is a great outlet. And to have new turf coming in, it gives an opportunity to have more sports involved, another field. So that's important. So, and just getting the young ladies an avenue to look forward to. There are a lot of jobs and careers that deal with it. We were in a symposium today. We had 5 young ladies that work for the Titans organization that, they said that if they had this earlier, they probably would have been involved in some of the things they're doing. But by being involved with girls flag football, there are a lot of, jobs, refereeing, coaching, being in the executive office, a lot of things that they can look forward to even after their playing days are over.
Looks like there are 15 Metro programs, Coach. As you talk to other coaches and other administrators across Metro Nashville, how do you feel like this is going to go? I mean, have they got numbers? How is it catching on across Metro Nashville, do you feel?
I think that, always beginning, like I say, you really are competing against with other sports. So sometimes you have limited access to young ladies, but if you're willing to share and work together, if they really want to participate, you want them to experience this. This is an inaugural year. 20 years down the road when they're at reunions, they're going to be the ones that are talking about this. They were the pioneers, the front runners. And this they're gonna look back and do is with a fond memories of some of the relationships, playing the games that they have always wanted to play, because there's a lot of excitement. And more women watch the Super Bowl than the Oscars, the Emmys, even combined. So there's a great interest in football. And the ladies are playing it, and this gives them avenue and even scholarships. I think probably in a year or two, It's going to be sanctioned by TSSAA. So it's coming, and it's coming fast. I can see colleges, really catching on to this. This is kind of a pilot program, but it's the excitement of the young ladies that were in the Titan Stadium today and going in the locker rooms and talking to some of the executives. Just their excitement was unbelievable.
Well, we are certainly excited about this season. We obviously, covered Williamson County last year, but having Montgomery County involved, Metro involved this year, along with Williamson County, like you said, it's kind of growing like wildfire, and soon enough you're going to see it catching fire across the entire state, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to watching Metro play, and again, obviously Wednesday nights makes it great for folks like us who have nothing else to do on Wednesday nights. So.
Well, I tell you, it all comes from leadership. The athletic director, Mark North, he really, really is spearheading this program. He's there in the trenches. He wants this to succeed. He's really doing a lot for Metro schools. Roosevelt, Sanders worked as athletic director, now Mark North, and to see them work together and pilot this program. The excitement that he exudes and that he's put into it, it makes it a lot easier.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it, Coach. And we appreciate you taking some time today to tell us a little bit about it. We will hopefully see you on the gridiron soon.
And thanks to Mo, Franklin's finest.
Coach, I appreciate you. Thanks for taking some time with us this afternoon, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, go Burrows.
All right.
All right, we'll take one final break and then look back and look ahead to the week that was and the weekend coming in pro sports around Middle Tennessee. So stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Welcome back into the Lee Company studio. Chris Yow, Mo Patton on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, last night, the Preds got the win in the shootout against the Kraken. They inch closer to that potential wild card spot. And, as we were talking with some friends last night throughout the arena, I don't know if that's such a great thing. I almost want to just go ahead and end this thing, but, Preds now still 5 points out because the Jets won. Jets keep winning. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it won't matter what they do. I guess the thing is, there's not anybody. I don't know what the hockey draft looks like, so I don't know that there is a tank for anybody necessarily.
Well, and it's like baseball because you have, a minor league system. So even if you tank for somebody, they're not going to be here until 3-4 years from now.
All right. So with that said, I just feel like you want to be as competitive as possible. So, we'll see.
And obviously get the Kraken again on Sunday, and then a shot at the Maple Leafs on
Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah, and the Maple Leafs are, well, let's just say they're good. So is Seattle. So you got two tough games, but they're both at home. So feel like you got a chance to win those. Looking forward to seeing what they're able to do. The Grizzlies tonight get the still sub 20 win Rockets, but on top of getting Ja Morant back, who went for 17, 4, and 5 in their last meeting, Dylan Brooks is back after serving a 1-game suspension for his 18th technical foul. There are some folks who get texts a little bit quicker because of their reputation, and he is one of them. I don't think what he did was necessarily all that tech worthy. As far as the quote taunting the bench, I mean, this is the NBA. That happens literally every game by somebody.
Sure. Yeah, well, I mean, these players know each other so well that one person's talking trash as another person's taunting. It's a pretty fine line, and I don't know necessarily what the officials are looking for when they tee somebody up in that situation. So.
Yeah, it is what it is, but that's neither here nor there. Tonight, you feel like this should be a cakewalk, and when you think that, it typically isn't. So, obviously, and let me go check out the standings. I'm pretty sure that the Grizzlies are still pretty solid in the number 2 hole right now after dropping for about 3 days. Yeah, they are 2 full games up on the Kings and just 3.5 games out of first place with about 9 or 10 games to play.
It's hard to believe that we are this close to the end of the NBA regular season.
Yeah, but then we have a just as long playoff.
There's that.
In
less than a week, we will be talking about baseball games that count.
Baseball games that count. Can't wait for that.
Braves have their opener Thursday in Washington, a 12:05 start, local our time, 1:05 in DC and in Atlanta. And we are scheduled to have from 92.9 The Game out of Atlanta, Grant McCauley with us next Tuesday.
Okay, so
he's to talk a little Braves.
Is he going to be at 2:20 that day?
He is.
Okay, so we'll talk Grant McCauley on Tuesday. We'll be in First Horizon Park on Thursday. Hopefully, getting to catch up with Rick Sweet on Coach's Corner. Should be a great week, and looking forward to all of the things that we get a chance to do. Of course, this weekend there's plenty of baseball and softball and soccer and girls flag football to go around. If you're looking for something to do on a perfect weekend, by the way, it's going to be, low to mid 70s, sunshine all weekend. Get out and watch, support these local high school kids who are giving their all. It's going to be a great weekend for that.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
We are looking forward to coming back on Monday. We'll be back at 2 p.m. from 2 to 3:30, and we will react to all of the things that happened over the weekend. We'll, of course, give you the rundown and so much more. So come back with us again, 2 o'clock on Monday. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, comes to you from the Lee Company studio each and every day, and we appreciate you guys. Make sure to scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen before you get out of here, and we will see you on Monday. Mo?
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.